Yo, 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 everybody, welcome back to Scandal Time. Last time we found out that Peter was cheating on his wife with our secretary, and when we told Lucen suspects there's something more untoward going on. Maybe she was spying for a foreign power, or for the oligarchs, or for Sol or the Old Guard. In fact, Lucen didn't even want to tell us what he thought over the phone, so he wants to meet with us early before anyone else shows up to work. But before we do that, let's knock out some of the reports we've got to deal with. Lockhaven, National Business Council requests fiscal conservatism. We do have a national debt. I don't like it either. They issued a warning, the NBC, the National Business Council, about the government budget deficit, which occurred in the third year of the administration. Experts have sounded the alarm about a potential credit rating downgrade if the situation doesn't, if we don't balance things better, whatever. Yeah, I agree. We need to work on that. But when do we make money? When do we bring some money in, y'all? I wanna. CSP condemns the submarine attack on a cargo ship. What the fuck? The Katana Security Pack has issued a strong condemnation following the recent submarine attack on a cargo ship off the coast of Markinisa near northeast Rumburg. The incident involving a Rumburg submarine erroneously targeting a cargo vessel belonging to the United Katana. I was worried about Rumburg. If they start a war with the United Katana, we don't have to worry about Rumburg no more. In light of the incidents, the CSP is calling for immediate measures to prevent such occurrences in the future. A key proposition is the establishment of an emergency security hotline between Grace, that's the group of kingdoms, like the kings that all form their own kind of alliance, and the CSP. This would serve as a platform for real-time information exchange, ensuring quick and appropriate responses to any maritime distress signals. The pact believes that this initiative will significantly enhance maritime safety, providing a buffer against inadvertent escalations. That, or you could just take over Rumburg. What's going on in Vogsland? Oh, this is sanctions? Vogsland has announced a slew of trade sanctions against us, with increases of up to 30% of import tax on certain goods, along with the cancellation of military arms sales, medical assistance, and other economic cooperations between our countries. They did that because we signed an alliance with Lesbia, and they hate Lesbia because we're becoming aligned with the West. And the Kingdom of Rizia. Rizia's whining too. In a recent statement, King Romus condemned Sordland's alliance with Lesbia. King Romus, you can go fuck yourself. I don't care. If they don't like, they might join NATO. Yeah, we might join NATO. You don't like it? Go fuck off. You're not even neighbors with us, dude. You a bunch of hoe bags. Official statement. What we got in the news? That's just more about the sanctions. The Chancellor of Vogsland said he's going to announce new sanctions, which will be aimed at crippling our... How is he going to cripple our economy? How much business do we do with them? We're trading with everybody else. I'm not saying that it won't make a difference. Let's see, in the economy, it's not in the red. We've got increased trade volume. So go fuck yourself, Vogsland. We're trading more with lesbian countries that ain't poor-ass, broke-ass bitches. Prior to this, when we started the game, our trade volume was in the red. And then when we made the deal with Agnolia, it went into the orangish. And now it's in the green. Hell yeah. Those are good news. Now we gotta go see some bad news. Let's go meet Lucen. It was early in the morning after my talk with Peter. The sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon. Hello, giant ball of gaseous heat. And hello, sun. The Maroon Palace was empty save for a few cleaning staff. I entered my office to find Lucen already waiting for me.
Mr. President, thank you for meeting with me at this hour.
Lucen, you don't have to call me Mr. President. Let's just get down to brass tacks. Cut to the chase, friendo.
Very well. I am pleased that you chose to call me after your conversation with Mr. Vector last night, although I was already aware of this illicit relationship with Miss Suno.
What? Why did everybody know but me? How did you find out?
I'll get to that.
Were you watching from behind the curtains and, giggling?
On its own, given Mr. Vector's established reputation of something of a playboy, the affair is unlikely to cause much damage. However, a more troubling possibility has been brought to light.
She was a spy. It's like the Eric Swallow idiot.
A recent conversation with Mr. Hailstone, our whistleblower from Rumberg, revealed the presence of a spy within the Maroon Palace.
I knew it! From the get-go I suspected her.
I believe Miss Suno is our mole. She's been using her relationship with Mr. Vector to gather information.
Luckily we didn't do anything illegal in front of her. Or actually, period. I could laugh incredulously. Tell me more, tell me more, tell me more.
I can do better than that. I can show you.
Lucen reached into his coat pocket, pulled out an audio tape, and fed it into the reel-to-reel machine on my desk. Ooh, I hope it's a good radio play.
This was recorded in the palace at 1809, on the second day of your trade visit to Lesbia.
Do you record when I'm around, Lucen? Wait, no. Before I hear this, Lucen, do you record when I'm around? Thank God I tread the straight and narrow. He pressed play. I heard Peter and Livia's voices. You're sure everyone's gone for the day? Relax, Liv. Nobody's working that hard with Anton off in Lesbia. But if you want to hear about hard... Livia giggled. I heard the sound of kissing. And then drinks being poured. Are they drinking my good booze? I'm glad you stayed behind. Is this why he was never there for anything? Did he tell you how it's going on over there? Do you think there's a chance of forming an alliance? As a matter of fact, yes. He and Prime Minister Alvarez just sealed the deal. You idiot, Pete. You idiot. I think Anton is making the moves to isolate Rumberg step by step. You fucking idiot. I am, but you fucking idiot. In the meantime, I can think of another deal that needs sealing. Oh. Lucen grimaced and switched off the tape. Thank you, Lucen. Thank you. Well, I could say that's it. That's your damning evidence. That's damning enough, as far as I'm concerned. This is indeed cause for concern, Lucen.
I'm glad you agree. And that's not all. I found her resume on file, and there's a year-long gap between her finishing secretarial school and beginning her career.
Well, that happens to lots of people. I mean,
normally this would not have been looked into, but Miss Suno was hired before a background check could be completed by one Peter Vector.
God damn it, Pete. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Livia opened it cautiously. Good morning, Mr. President. Good morning, Mr. Glade. I didn't realize you'd be in so early. Something was in something, that's all I know. What? Nothing. Can I get you some coffee? Yeah. You know what? Close the door and have a seat. Lucen, go grab a knife. Livia sat. She looked puzzled. Is something the matter?
Enough pretending. Your secret is out.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. You know perfectly well. Livia buried her face in her hands. I'm so sorry, Mr. President. I was foolish. Peter was so nice to me, but it's over now. Nobody ever needs to know.
That's not what the President means, Miss Suno. We're referring to you being an intelligence agent for Rumberg.
Lucen, I know you were a spy. We shouldn't have volunteered that. We shouldn't have said what we accused her of. We should have let her fill in the blanks. Livia sat upright. She looked shocked. Pardon me, Mr. Glade, but are you feeling all right? He's fine. What do you have to say for yourself? Mr. President, I understand if you don't want me to keep my job, but why smear me with outlandish accusations?
Miss Suno, indulge me for a moment. What were you doing in the year 1951?
Livia's face flushed. If you must know, I was working as a cigarette girl at Porto's. It's in a Lockhaven saloon. I was saving up so I could afford my own place in Holsword. Here's the proprietor's number if you need a double check. She scribbled up a telephone number on a piece of paper. Lucen snatched it up. All right, that might be true. But why were you asking Peter about my alliances?
To tell the truth, Mr. Rayne, I was hoping to run for office someday myself.
I'd say an idiot like you can't win, but Peter got in, so anything's possible.
I want to make a real difference in the world someday, like Ms. Morgna or Ms. Walda.
Dude, Ms. Walda, Sierra hasn't changed anything. Well, she changed to something for one girl for one day. I guess she did one thing, but mostly she's incompetent.
But I guess I messed that up by getting involved with Peter. Now they're just gonna say I slept my way to the top.
Hey, if it worked for Kamala Harris, why not?
Wait, how do you know about that conversation?
There was a loud pounding on the door. Peter barged in without waiting for an answer. He was unshaven and wore the same clothes as the night before.
Hey, I came as soon as I heard what the three of you were doing in here. Anton, what the hell are you doing? I told you I had this under control.
Sit down and shut the fuck up, Peter. Peter took a seat at the far end of the sofa. He looked over at Livia and noticed her troubled expression.
God, why involve her? This is my best. She did nothing wrong.
Well, there's a small chance, Peter, that she might be a spy.
What?
I have reason to believe she's been relaying information to Embark. Information that you leaked to her in your carelessness.
Lucen rewound the tape and played it again. As Peter listened, his eyes widened in disbelief. This is some Jerry Springer shit.
Lucen, you rat bastard, you've been bugging my office.
I'm not gonna be like, Lucen, is this true? How could you? It's obvious he bugged somewhere. He wasn't just walking around with his tape recorder happening to get that. I'm sure there's an explanation for this, Peter. Both Peter and Livia were glaring at Lucen now. He looked unrepentant.
I had noticed the Vice President's behavior, becoming increasingly erratic and unprofessional over the past months. I wanted to get to the root of the cause.
So you wiretapped your own... Yeah. So you wiretapped your own goddamn colleague? And for what? Have you been getting off on this, you pervert?
Certainly not. I believe that along with the Rumberg whistleblower's admission that there is a spy in the palace and certain gaps in Miss Suno's resume, this tape makes a compelling case to investigate the secretary for espionage.
Oh, shit.
Whether or not the investigation yields positive result, Mr. Vector ought to be held accountable for his willingness to divulge such sensitive information. He ought to stand trial, or at the very least, resign.
Peter's jaw dropped. Livia stood up.
If I may, Mr. President, I've been paying attention to what goes on in the palace, not because I'm some sort of agent, but out of genuine interest. Hard as that may be for you to believe, Mr. Glad.
She scowled at Lucen, then turned back to me.
And from what I've seen, this man has been attempting to undermine your vice president at every turn, perhaps with the goal of replacing Peter himself.
That would be great, because Lucen is way more competent. Of course you'd say that horse shit. Peter's your lover, you whore. You Jezebel. Livia looked at Peter on the other side of the couch. Her eyes softened.
He was my lover. We've put this behind us. The two of you ought to do that as well.
How long ago did it take me to go to Lesbia? What was that, like a day ago? Fuck. Lucen frowned.
My personal misgivings about Mr. Vector aside, I would never do anything to harm this administration. Mr. Vector, on the other hand, has at best committed adultery and at worst delivered state secrets straight into enemy hands.
Who could I believe? Lucen, can I speak to you alone for a moment? I believe Lucen. Look, if Lucen's really smart, right? If anybody could fuck over somebody else and move up the food chain, it's Lucen. I don't see any reason why he'd need to, though. He's so useful, he could just wait around and get promoted. But either way, we know Peter's a fuck-up. Peter and Livia exchanged worried glances before exiting my office.
What are you going to do, Mr. President?
I believe you. Let's investigate Livia. Worst case thing that happens is we discover she's just a whore. Lucen breathed a sigh of relief.
I appreciate your trust in me. And Mr. Vector, what will you do about his willingness to compromise Sordland's security at the drop of a pencil skirt?
I will decide that once we have the results. Once we know whether or not he was just telling bedtime tales to somebody who's stupid or leaking information to a spy, then we'll have the information we need to make a decision.
Very well. Just keep in mind, you may need him to shoulder the blame for this.
Lucien adjusted his tie.
I'll apologize to Miss Suno and tell her this has all been a misunderstanding. We can't have her running away during the investigation.
Wait, if we were going to investigate... Of course, I was the one that invited them in to confront them. No, I'll do it myself. She's too suspicious of you, Lucien. It won't work if you do it.
Very well, sir.
Lucien gave a slight bow as he left the office. I sat by myself for a while, wondering exactly what I'd set into motion. More, I'm worried, did they fuck on my furniture? Should I get my furniture dry cleaned? Should I get my furniture burned? I hope Peter didn't do the nasty on my couch. Wow, there's no other reports? No reports, no news, just a political briefing meeting and the results of the affair scandal. I guess we'll go to the briefing. The morning sunlight streamed through the windows as Lucien and I entered the White Room. I sat down. Lucien remained standing.
I'm afraid I won't be able to join you for your meetings today, sir. The business surrounding Livia Suno, that affair is taking up all of my time at the moment.
He dropped a thick folder in front of me.
I was hoping to go over the day's agenda with you before your cabinet members began arriving, but duty called.
Good job, Lucien. If she is the spy, I need to know. He walked out almost immediately, as if she'd been waiting for him to leave. Livia entered with what's a carafe of coffee? I don't know, I don't drink coffee. She poured me a cup with a smile. What if she poisoned it? Then she took a look down at the folder in front of me.
It looks like you have quite the agenda packed for today, Mr. President.
Yes, we're spending money on a giant mech. A Metal Gear that could crush Rumberg in 5 seconds. It would be a shame if somebody leaked that to them so they didn't ever attack us.
I'm sorry again about the disturbance in that my indiscretion caused. I hope I didn't create too much extra work for you.
You know what? I expect more professional behavior from you going forward, Miss Suno.
And you will get it, Mr. President. Enjoying your coffee.
She walked out. I enjoyed a split second of solitude before the morning's first meetings. Internal Affairs was first on the list. Lilius and Nia, along with their close staff, joined me around the table.
Shall we begin?
Yeah.
Mr. President, I want to congratulate you for everything on the historic accomplishment for the Bloods in Sordland. Thank you for approving my plans for the revocation of the special zone.
Nia averted her gaze. I feel like I kind of did that myself with an executive order.
The internal security structure of Bergia has already been dismantled. Part of the local forces will be integrated into the Sordish police force. The governor position's been abolished. In the next election, each town will elect its own mayor, like the rest of Sordland.
I already know all of this, Lilius.
And now you, Ms. Graf, have complete control over the region's security.
As I should, Ms. Morgna. I am the Minister of the Interior, after all.
Can you guys go catfight in the hall? I feel like I got other shit to deal with. Unless you've got some corruption information, which I think Greaser's working on either organized crime or the oligarchs. That's all I want to hear about.
In any case, now that the governor is gone, this will hopefully prove to be a huge step for Bludish rights in the region.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope we can achieve a true reconciliation between our people.
She sighed. Oh! Yes, I hear your concerns. Nia nodded. Lilia stood up.
I have an important update about the increasing tensions on the streets. We're getting reports of more and more demonstrations against the government, with some having potential to become violent. Carl and I are watching the situation closely.
She placed a stack of papers in front of me.
The Security Committee of the Assembly is working on a draft law that would help strengthen our internal security in times of crisis, such as now.
Lilius, it better not be something that is violating civil rights. I am not interested in restricting people's civil rights.
I've been following their work, and I truly believe they've done an exemplary job with this. Mr. Holstron.
Who? Oh, that little creep from the NFP? The ultra-righties?
Who has been working on this for quite some time, has made some great arguments for the bill. Guess what, Lilius? If I want to veto it, I can, and the Assembly can't do anything. They didn't pass my Constitution. They can't override my vetoes.
You know what? If this is Mr. Holstrom's work, oh, alright, tell me about the bill. I was gonna say I'm gonna veto it no matter what.
Firstly, it aims to grant the necessary authority to police forces on the ground to enable quick and decisive responses in situations where the public security is at risk.
This sounds like it's gonna be a civil rights violation.
It will also remove several legal limits that were prescribed for the forces, allowing them to function much more efficiently.
That all sounds way too vague, bitch. What are the legal limits that you're talking about?
It removes the prerequisites of warrants and substantial evidence, allowing for suspicion-based...
No! Fuck no! Fuck no! It doesn't surprise me at all that the NFP would do that.
It also adds a clause which allows security forces to exercise their authority beyond their legal limits, only if...
No! No! I don't care. No! You let a cop decide where the legal line is, and it's going to be wherever they want it to be, and it's going to be oppressing people. Yeah, this is insane. I'm not going to turn Sordland into a police state. This is going to get vetoed, Lilius, and you can't do anything about it. You and all your friends in the Assembly can all jerk each other off on this. Every one of you can vote for it. Every last one, and I can veto it. And there's nothing you can do.
You're clearly not seeing the threats.
You're not seeing the power you have left me with.
You are creating them for yourself, Lilius.
Lilius sighed.
Ah. In any case, that's all from me about the security bill.
Yes, that is all from you about the security bill. It is DOA. They both stood up.
We'll keep it brief. I think that'll be all for our internal affairs update.
They gathered their documents.
See you later, Mr. President.
See ya, Nia. Nice seeing ya. They took their entourage and left the room. Simon came in shortly afterwards.
Mr. President, where's the Vice President today?
I don't know. Hopefully he killed himself.
That's a horrible thing to say, Mr. President.
I don't know. Have you seen him? I have no idea where he could be.
Not lately.
Simon's expression remained unchanged as he sat down to face me.
I just wanted to provide you with a few updates on the economy.
Tell me it's good news. Because right there, projected economic growth is up. Our trade agreement, I know Vogsland is trying to put sanctions on us, so that might hurt us. But our trade otherwise is going up. We trading with Lesba. We're trading with Magnolia. We be trading with bitches.
You may have noticed that the government budget is in need of a boost.
Yeah, you don't say. When do we ever get government money? When do we get tax money?
My ministry is therefore working on a bill that will increase the tax on tobacco products from 10 to 30%.
I don't know, Simon. Like, tobacco's bad for you, but if we need re-election, the best way to lose is to make it so... Remember, it's the 1950s. Doctors smoke. It's the 1950s. Doctors recommend smoking. If we piss off everybody, we might regret that. But we do gotta get that budget under control. You got a point, Simon.
A similar bill is being drafted to introduce a 20% tax on alcohol.
Not on alcohol! That's... No, it's used in, like, religious ceremonies and stuff. Like, no, that would be... Wouldn't it be a sin to raise the tax on alcohol?
In addition to bringing in needed revenue, the new laws would curb excessive drinking and smoking.
But people love excessive drinking and smoking. We can't tax people's booze and cigarettes. There'd be riots in the streets, Simon.
Your public opinion would suffer. There's no getting around that. Ordinarily, I'd advise against this kind of thing, but with our budget dipping into the red, any measure that would reverse our deficit is worth considering, especially since Swordish's tourism industry has been stagnating.
Yeah, that's disappointing to hear.
To be fair, I never understood why anyone would want to vacation in Sordland when Lesbia is right there.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you, Simon. There was a knock on the door. Gus Manger strolled in and grabbed... What is this, fucking Grand Central Station? Everybody's coming in today?
Mr. President, Simon.
Thanks for joining us, Gus. I believe you wanted to update the President on the latest developments in the Groony region.
You better be having this farm equipment shit work, Gus. I spent one government monies on it to update the tractors and shit. Gus nodded vigorously.
Yes, you both know how revitalizing the region has always been my pet project of sorts. Well, thanks to the efforts of my ministry and the funding allocated by the President, Groony is looking stable these days.
Stable? That's it?
Gus shrugged.
It's far from the massive surge in economic growth that I had hoped to see, but I still believe the area has a wealth of untapped potential
Do you want more money? Is that what you want, Gus? Because I ain't got it.
If we seize every possible opportunity to invest in Groony now, we could still see positive results within our term.
That's not going to happen. We ain't got no money for investing. We are broke. Groony is not really a number one priority for us anyway. Nothing against Groony. Groony's economy is all right. Bergia is like the last region that has an absolute shit show of an economy. It seems to me that my remaining time in office would be better spent focusing on other regions, Gus. It's nothing against Groony. You got special treatment. Not every area has got special treatment, though some got infrastructure plans. Gus gritted his teeth.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, Mr. President. If Groony is neglected, of course it will fail.
Yeah, and Bergia is already failing. And we don't have any money. You want to go get a second, third, fifth job to pay for it? Fine. But short of that...
Try to calm down, Gus. The president makes decisions on behalf of the entire country, not only your home region.
Oh, that's why Gus wants preferential treatment for Groony. Not for the Goonies. The Goonies are pretty cool, though. We're from Bergia, and we've done the opposite. The door to the White Room opened slowly, and David made his way in. Why not? Come in. Everybody else is today. Oh, hello, gentlemen. I'm early again, aren't I?
Not to worry, Mr. Wissy. We've just about wrapped things up. While we're both here, we may as well talk about the economic impact of our recent alliance.
A wise idea, Mr. Hall. Our new partnership is not without its consequences. As you may recall, almost immediately after we sealed our alliance with Lesbia, Vogsland imposed strict tariffs on us in retaliation. Yeah, I know.
The fallout won't impact our economy right away, but I do expect a significant hit before the end of the term.
Fortunately, I believe any short-term economic harm imparted by these tariffs will be offset by the Alliance's long-term benefits.
That's what I'm hoping too, David. Number one, economically, I think it will. But number two, the fact that we probably won't get destroyed by Rumberg is a pretty major, plus. I wouldn't have agreed to the Alliance if I didn't believe that as well. I'm looking at the big picture, y'all. That's what I'm known as, El Presidente Big Picture.
I fully expect our relationship with Lesbia to pay off. Arcadia has already taken notice and is planning on sending us a generous aid offer.
I wouldn't mind some aid. Some free monies.
Although I've heard that the aid will be more military in nature, which raises questions about the real motivations.
Well, they probably want to check the CSP. The CSP is probably muscling more into Vogsland. Arcadia probably wants to, set up more of a counterblock to that. But that's okay. More Arcadian military troops in our country should keep us safe from Rumberg. And as long, I don't know, are they going to send private military companies? That I'm a little worried about, because they've had a checkered past. Supposedly they've cleaned that up by talking with Quinnell. That I'd be a little bit worried about, but we'll see. But more money. I don't know, we need more money, but more money, that's more problems.
They're clearly gauging our interest in joining NATO, which from a purely financial standpoint would be a great move.
What do you think I've been working on, Simon?
We'll leave you to your meeting, gentlemen. My regards to Mr. Vector.
Thank you, Simon. Simon and Gus rose from their seats and left the room. Oh, I meant to say thanks to Gus, too. After the door closed, David regarded me for a second. His blue eyes seemed to see right through me.
Oh, how are you, Anton? You look as if you haven't slept in ages.
You know what? Sleeplessness comes part and parcel with the job. You know that.
I'll be very brief. Perhaps we can even carve out some time for you to rest your eyes. Regretfully, tensions are continuing to mount between Sordland and Rumberg. As you might imagine, our decision to grant asylum to the whistleblower, Mr. Hailstone, did not sit well with their kingdom.
Yeah, nothing sits well with their kingdom. That queen bitch is always...
Maybe you shouldn't call her queen bitch.
But she is a queen bitch. She always unhappy about something, and then they're trying to get free money from us, wanting to get paid reparations for something that happened 80 fucking years ago. Why don't you go find the people who did that 80 years ago? They're all dead. Go dig them up and get that money.
We must exercise caution. The slightest provocation on either side could cost our chance at reconciliation.
I don't care about reconciling with them. I don't want a war because I don't want people to die. And because our son Frank, Anton doesn't want his son to die in a war. We don't want a war in general because that's bad, but Rumberg can get fucked too. You know what? I could say Rumberg must be brought to justice. No, that's the road to war. I could say you're right, as usual. The last thing we need is a war on our hands. We're gonna stand strong, right? We updated our military. We ain't gonna be bitches. I don't even know if peace is possible after so many years of animosity. Look, if they want to meet us halfway, I'm totally down for peace. But I don't know.
There's always hope for peace, no matter what.
Then why don't you go over to Rumberg and get them to agree?
I'll leave it to you, Anton. I know you've got a lot on your plate.
It's always a pleasure, David. It was nice to see you. David left the White Room, gently closing the door behind him. Man, let's see. Look at that growth. We do know that there's going to be an economic hit at some point for Volksland trying to put sanctions on us. What do we got news-wise? From the Lockhaven Times? More football, soccer shit. I don't care about that. What else we got? Geopolitics? United Contana discovers Arcasian base in Polaris. So apparently, Arcasia has put a base in the North Pole. Or maybe they're protecting Santa. A United Contana satellite has uncovered a massive Arcasian military base in Polaris, strategically positioned within bomber range of the United Contana. This unexpected development has sparked a strong response from the United Contana, with government officials threatening to establish a naval base on the continent in response. Well, the Cold War is heating up, and it looks like we're trying to pick a side. Let's hope Arcasia offers us a shitload of government aid, and there's no private military contractors coming in. Interesting times either way. Thanks for being a part of them.